Disclaimer. We are interested in everything and experts in nothing. We enjoy learning, but get it wrong sometimes. We mean no disrespect, and if we mess up, kindly correct us. Let's take this ride together, unless your intention is to cause harm or distress, in which case, with utmost haste, fuck right off.
Episode 14. All right. This one's mine.
Yep.
And I am doing the history of the Castrato.
Aren't those the guys?
Yep.
Okay, let's
do
this.
The Castrato. Fabulous sopranos. Unnaturally lanky, missing two very important things they probably did not agree to give up in the first place.
Wait, they're lanky?
We'll get there.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Yet, here we are.
Yeah.
All right. Castrato, also called Ivarato, male soprano or contralto voice of great range, flexibility, and power, was produced as a result of castration before puberty. Why? Well, the castrato voice was introduced in the 16th century when women were still banned from church choirs and stage.
Well, okay. Okay, so they wanted a higher voice?
They needed to have a soprano voice, but women were not allowed in church singing or on stage. So their response for needing to get to these high notes
was to castrate prepubescent boys.
Horrifically scar these poor boys.
Okay, well, if that's not an example of toxic masculinity,
right,
hurting
toxic
men
masculinity.
too, I just don't know what is.
Right. Yes.
Jesus.
So, the immediate effect on their voice was that they retained the high notes and the range of their immature voice. So, obviously, they're not going to go through puberty. You cut the balls off. They're going to keep their young voice. The operation had a variety of other effects.
Well,
besides the physiological and physical trauma and horrific scarring of that.
Right. Well, okay, hold on. Please. Okay. Did these boys get any kind of say in the fact that they were going to do this?
No, not really.
Okay. Good.
So, we'll get to that as well.
Okay.
All right. So, the lack of testosterone meant that the singer's bones didn't harden.
Wait, really?
Yes. So their bones usually grew unusually long.
Really?
Yes. We took your balls and now we're going to let nature continue to fuck you up where we started.
Well, hormones are meant to regulate, so.
And you take them out.
They can't regulate.
They cannot regulate.
Yeah.
So, operating through a small child-sized vocal cords, their voices were also extraordinarily flexible and quite different from the equivalent adult female voice.
Okay.
So it's, again, they're not letting women in. I feel like that would be a lot easier than all of this. But here they are trying to advertise it as, oh, it's still better than a woman.
Of course it's better. Of course it is. Okay.
So, castratos were A, very tall,
okay,
and B, had very large rib cages, giving them a vast amount of breath capacity.
I'm surprised. Okay.
Yes. Castratos, or castrati, whichever, could wow audiences by holding notes for a superhuman amount of time, as well as singing higher than a naturally matured male voice could.
Right.
That, of course, makes it all worth it.
I
say no.
I would think no.
I say a big fat no.
Yeah.
No. Just no. So what is the history of the castrati?
Yeah, who had this bright idea?
Okay. In 400 AD in Constantinople, an empress, Aelia Exodocia, had a eunuch choir master named Bryson.
Okay.
But here's a side note. Eunuchs were castrated after puberty. So the operation didn't have any impact on their voice.
I did not know that.
Yes. But castrato singers first appeared in Europe in the mid-16th century in 1589. A papal bull was even passed that young boys and falsetto singers of the choir of St. Peter's in Rome were to be replaced by castratos. So take out the kids and the young boys, bring in the ballless wonders.
So the church did this.
The church did this. Yeah. Castrato singers appeared in Paris, Munich, and they also made up the high voice parts of the Sistine Chapel choir. Because again, no women. Let's just horribly mutilate these poor boys.
Yes, because somehow that's morally better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, but here's the thing. The operation was never legal.
What?
It was never legal to castrate someone. So, it would had to have been done by decidedly dodgy surgeons.
Oh my god.
So it was one of those things where it was like, all right, families would come up with these complex backstories and accidents that had befallen the boys. Oh, he fell off his horse.
No,
He was attacked by a wild boar. And we're going to make the most of it.
Oh my god.
Yes. So, illegal to create a castrata or castrato. But if you happen to already have one, sure, we'll take them.
Wow. Okay, was there, like,
No,
compensation for this?
Yes.
Oh, God.
Yes.
Here we go. Okay.
Yeah. So, it reached the greatest prominence in the 17th and 18th century opera. The unique tone quality of the voice, coupled with the ability of the intensively trained singers to execute extremely difficult, florid vocal passages, made the castrati the rage of opera audiences and actually contributed to the spread of the Italian opera. In the 18th century opera, the majority of the male singers were castrati. There are still parts for a matured man's voice, but for the female range, like the soprano and whatever, they're castrati. No women.
Okay. But now, those same pieces, if they were to be performed, it's just the
It's women. Oh, it's women.
Okay.
Oh, it's women. Thank God it's women, and we're no longer doing this.
Right, because somehow the accidents seem to have dried up.
Yep. Oh,
Weird.
He was attacked by a wild boar, just like his 3 brothers before him. We really should move out of wild boar territory. And why are the wild boar specifically going for the balls and nothing else?
It's a delicacy. Look, people eat boar testicles.
Right, they're getting revenge.
Rocky
They're like,
Mountain oysters or
you.
whatever as a delicacy.
You
so...
ate my uncle's balls, I'm gonna eat yours.
As a delicacy.
As a delicacy. Although I think they're actually sheep's testicles, not boar's testicles. But who cares? The point
the
is...
premise is the same.
They're eating
but
testicles
you might be
and
right.
trying to call them oysters, which... Ew.
I know, big ew.
Ew.
But
I don't like oysters anyway. And I certainly don't want them in ball form. No. They're usually deep fried, so you don't know what you're looking at.
Yeah, you know how I am about meat. I'm not going to touch any meat I don't know what is.
No.
And only about 50% of the meat I do know what is.
Yes. Okay. So, a famous castrati was Francesco Bernardi, or Sensicino, as he had become known.
What? Okay.
I have no idea. He just got a stage name. He lost his balls, picked one single name, and went on.
Okay. I guess it's not that unusual.
No. He was the Madonna of his time.
Well, but Madonna's her real name, so really he's the Bono.
Right, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. So, he was born in 1686 and went on to appear in many of Handel's work, including the opera Giulio Cesare and Rodalinda.
Okay.
I don't speak any of these languages, I'm sorry. I barely speak English well. We've established that many a time.
We just make it up.
We just go on it. One contemporary account said he had a powerful, clear, equal, and sweet castrato voice, with a perfect intonation and an excellent shake. His manner of singing was masterly, and his elocution unrivaled. He sang allegros with great fire, and marked rapid divisions from the chest, in an articular and pleasing manner. Which I am sure he was happy to hear, and no way regretted the forced loss of his balls.
I mean...
I'm sure he was like,
that just makes up for it?
I'm
that
glad
just makes up for it.
that you...
Ugh.
Whatever.
But, okay, sorry, what... In like, opera terms, what's a shake?
When your voice, like, vibrates a little bit.
Like
you
the
kinda hear
vibrato sound?
The vibrato
Okay.
sound, yeah.
Okay.
I assume, or the guy was shaking with anger and fear because he had no balls, he had crazy-ass lanky arms, he had a huge fucking torso, and he was just done.
His internalized righteous rage.
Yes, righteous as fuck rage.
Okay, could be that too.
You never know. The most famous of the Italian castrati was Carlo Borshi, known as Farinelli. Because again, drop your balls, drop the last name.
Huh.
Lose the balls, lose the last name.
Okay.
Farinelli came a little later, but quickly rose to become one of the most famous musicians of his age. He was born Carlo Maria Michelangelo Nicola Broschi.
What a name!
Yes.
Jesus!
In 1705. His parents probably decided to find someone to operate on him. They say parents, I'm going to say family, because it was the result of his father's death. And having a castrato in the family could bring in a lot of money. So basically, Daddy Dearest died. And I assume Daddy Dearest, of course, was the one who brought in the money.
Yeah.
So, well, shit, Dad's dead. You're the man of the house. We're going to unman you and shove you out the door. And bring in your money for us.
Okay, so, okay, I know it's a different era. It's a different reality.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Okay, I acknowledge this. But as a parent, what makes your brain go, I know the way out of this situation is to mutilate my child?
Yes, and force him to bring money into the household.
I mean, even if you're going to do that,
why can't he just take over the fucking business?
Why can't he be like an apprentice to a blacksmith or something? Like,
no.
Well, okay.
No, that takes too much time.
Child mutilation, that's the answer. I don't get it.
Balls gone.
Okay.
Here's some sheet music. Get to singing.
Different reality.
Yep.
Okay.
One musician who heard him sing in Milan in 1726 said, Farinelli had a penetrating, full, rich, bright, and well-modulated soprano voice.
Okay.
With a range that at the time from A below middle C to D, 2 octaves above middle C, his intonation was pure, his trill beautiful, his breath control extraordinary, and his throat very agile. So he performed the wildest intervals quickly and the greatest ease and certainty. Why was he looking at his throat so damn close?
Look, I got stuck on that too. His throat being agile. That sounds vaguely sexual and creepy.
But what is he going to do about it? He ain't got no balls.
Well, okay.
Moving on.
Move on.
Farinelli also performed music by Handel and went on to become a favorite of European royalty. He was hired by Queen Elisabetta Farnese of Spain to cure the depression of her husband Philip V.
Okay.
I know you're sad.
Disapprove of the method in terms of the castration.
Yeah.
But also I kind of love the idea of you're depressed, let me hire you a singer to just regale you.
Yes, and by the way, he's going to be lanky as fuck, an enormous rib cage. And you're going to be clutching your balls the whole time, going, ooh, dude, I'm so sorry.
Do you have pictures of these people?
Yes, I do. Well,
I can't wait.
Okay, here's the thing.
Oh.
I have illustrations, because it's the 1700s. I do have a picture of the last known castrato, but it's only one, and it's like a headshot.
Oh, okay.
But we'll get into that.
I'm a little encouraged, actually, that there are no photos, because clearly they were done doing this by the time photos became a thing.
Yes.
So I'm a little encouraged.
So here we
Keep
go.
going.
Prepubescent castration for the purpose diminished greatly in the late 18th century and was made illegal in the Papal States, the last to prohibit it in 1870.
Okay, so I was just this far ahead of you.
You were this far ahead.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's talk about the last castrato.
Okay, let's.
It's a little bit disturbing, I'm sorry.
Oh my god, it's already been a little bit disturbing.
Just because of how late it is.
Okay.
Like, to the point that we have a recording of him.
Oh.
So, in the Papal States, it was prohibited in 1870.
Which is interesting. So, okay, back up. Let me clarify here.
Mm-hmm.
So it was never, ever legal to create one.
Correct. It was never legal to create one, but it was no longer legal to have them in the church choirs, on the stages.
Okay.
So they basically said, no, you can't do this for the sake of money.
Okay.
Yeah, like you can't sell them to the church, sell them to the opera. I don't think you would sell them to the church. You probably wouldn't make money for that. But you can't sell them to the opera.
Wait.